You're okay to say that, Mr. Newman?
They each have their own podiums.
It's important to know mine's on the right, but that's Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here today, and you know what? It even feels sunny here in Kenosha, even with those clouds out there. Kenosha's a great place to be. I'd like to start this morning by introducing the most important person in my life. In fourth grade, I sat down in a Sunday school class, and across the table from me was this very beautiful young lady. It's a sad story, but I can tell you what she wore to our sixth grade Christmas things. I can tell you what she wore to confirmation as she sat next to me. And we dated all through high school except the year she gave me off for what she says is bad behavior and we do not talk about in public. She's a tremendous wife. She's been with me now for 36 years. She is a major part of anything that happens. She's a great mom, and we found out she's also a tremendous grandma here in the last 4 years. My wonderful wife, Sue. I have with me this morning the young man that's actually responsible for my having the ability to run for governor, Matt, my son, and his beautiful wife. Matt has willingly stepped forward to take over our business after about 5 years working with us. It's the home building industry. It's a tough business, and he's doing very good at it. Fortunately, he's got his mother's brain, so we're in pretty good shape as he takes over those businesses. Matt, Neem, you want to stand up? Feels really good to be home back in the 1st District. I remember back 16 years ago when many of the people in this room were actively involved in sending me to Washington, D.C. I remember those 2 races we lost, and then I remember you all standing beside us as we ran for a 3rd time and turned a seat that had been Democrat for 22 years into a Republican seat. And folks, it's not really about Democrat or Republican, it's really about the message and the mission that you sent me to Washington with. And it wasn't a Democrat mission or a Republican mission. We had a Democrat president at the time and a Republican House and a Republican Senate, so we had to understand it had to be done in a bipartisan way. The mission you sent me with there was very, very clear. You expected us to get spending under control at the federal government level. You expected us to balance the federal budget, and you expected us to cut taxes. So the mission was in hand. We knew what we were doing. We knew how we were supposed to do it, and I knew that you all were counting on us to get that job done. When I got there, it's a daunting task. And let me just put this in perspective. The numbers that we were working with in Washington, D.C. are 1,200 times larger than the largest county budget in the state of Wisconsin, and they are 50 times larger than the Wisconsin state budget. So folks, when we hear about the Wisconsin state budget and how far out of whack it was, I just want to compare it to what we dealt with when I went to Washington, D.C. The federal budget was huge deficits, a growing debt, and we were losing jobs by the tens of thousands. Very much the same type of atmosphere that we are in right now today. We got there, we fought day in and day out. We fought to a point where I got kicked off a committee by my own party leaders because we fought to cut spending so much, but we got the job done. 4 years later, when I left Congress, the federal budget was balanced, the only time in a generation that the federal budget has been balanced. The budget was actually in surplus to a point where we were paying off debt, and that theory that we had that if we could balance the federal budget and control spending, that we would be able to create jobs, that theory worked. In fact, we understood that as we cut taxes, you all keep more of your own money, and when you keep that money, you're only going to do one of 2 things. You're either going to spend it and that creates jobs, or you're going to save it, and that becomes capital for our businesses to grow and expand and create additional growth in our economy. Folks, as governor, my top priority will be to improve the economy in the state of Wisconsin and bring jobs back to this state. The theory that we applied once before, on a larger scale with the help of other people in a bipartisan way, to balance the federal budget, cut taxes, and watch jobs be created, that same theory needs to be applied at our state level. We've done it before with your help and with the help of lots of others, and we can do it again for the great state of Wisconsin so that our children and our grandchildren have hope for a future here in this great state. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to turn to questions and answers now. We're going to ask candidates in turn. We'll switch off who leads off on answering, and if I make a mistake, I have a feeling you'll correct it.